Hello everyone. In this video class, we are seeing microcontroller and embedded system subject, module 5 concepts. This is the syllabus for 5th module, that is a RTOS IDE for embedded system design. In the previous video lecture, we already concentrated about some of the operating system basics and some of the types and task, process and thread concept, and thread preemption, multiprocessing and multitasking we completed in the previous class. Now in this class we are going to see task communication. What are the different communication method we are using here? Now you have to refer this textbook, Introduction to Embedded System by Shibu KV, for more information of this module. Task communication. The task means process. Process, task, job all are same. Here task or process communication means communication between two tasks or two process. Why it is required? If your process is cooperating process, then some of the execution properties are same between that two process. Now there is a requirement of some communication. That means there is a requirement of some of the variables of other process. P1 and P2 are the two process, means P1 require some of the variables, some of the programs, some of the variables, mainly datas from P2 process, and P2 processor needs some of the data from P1 process to execute properly. At that time there is a communication required between two process. P1 should communicate with P2, P2 should communicate with P1. So that communication is required. So that communication is done by some of the methods, that is called task communication. Here multitasking system, multiple process run concurrently and each process may or may not interact between. There is a concept called concurrently, that is a parallelly. Here they given parallelly. So there is a two or more process run parallelly, means then there is a communication is required between that process. So we have two types of process here. One is a cooperating process, another one is a competing process. That is also called independent process. Cooperating process means in the cooperating interaction model, one process require the input from other process to complete its execution. P1 and P2 are the two processes. P1 needs some help from P2 to complete P1's execution, and P2 needs some help from P1 process to complete P2 execution. So that is called cooperating process. There is a cooperation required. But competing means that is independent, just competing each other. The competing process do not share anything among themselves, but they share the system resource. They will share the resource, they will share the hardware, because we have, if hardware is only one, so two processes are competing each other to get that hardware. But in cooperating process, that two process will understand each other, and there is a cooperation is there, and they will share that resource according to that cooperation manner. But here competing, so one resource is there, both processes are competing each other to get that particular resource. The competing process compete for the system resource such as file, display, device. These are the different resource types: file, this display, device, like this. But they competing each other to get that one system resource, and there is nothing is that means there is no sharing items. They don't communicate each other, just they competing each other. But here they are communicating each other and they are executing one by one. The various type of inter-process communication between the process, there is a communication that is called inter-process. Intra-process means inside process there is a communication, that is a intra-process. But here they give an inter, that means one process is communicated with another process. P1 process is communicated with the P2 process. P2 is communicated with the P3. P3 is communicated with P1. So that between process there is a communication is there, then that is called inter-process communication mechanism. So there are three types. One is a shared memory, second one is a message passing, third one is a remote procedure call. And in this shared memory concept, we have subdivided two concepts, that is a pipe and memory mapped object. So these are the three very important concepts in the module 5: shared memory, message passing, and remote procedure call. So short form is RPC. So we will see one by one out of this. First we will go for shared memory. So shared memory name itself tells that if you want to communicate one process with another process, that communication happen through one common memory area. So that is called shared memory. So in the primary memory we have one area for communication purpose. P1 also put anything inside that and P2 will take from that. P2 also put anything here and P1 take from here. So there is no direct communication between P2 and P1. So everything is through shared memory itself. So that is called shared memory concept. Process share some area of the memory to communicate among them. So this is the area. Information to be communicated by the process is written to the shared memory area. Any information. So P1 want to send some information to P2. At that time it can't directly send to P2. So he or process 1 should put that information in shared this area. Then P2 can take that information from this area. So that is indirectly. It is the same as the real world. One example, they give a notice board. You know that about notice board. So one person will put that information in notice board. Another person will see that from notice board itself. So he can't go to that process P2 and he can't show that. Just he will put that general information in notice board. He will see everything. He will read or everything from notice board. So he will write, he will read. Like that, process 2 will write something in shared memory. Process 1 read that information from shared memory. So that is the concept. For reading and writing, we have one common area that is called shared memory area. So there is a real-time example is like notice board. Inside your shared memory, we have two parts. One is a pipe. I told two concepts. One is a pipe. One is a another one is a memory mapped objects. So now pipe concept. What does it mean by pipe? It is actually, you can see here, pipe. It is a one direction or a unidirection or bidirection is so now whatever here they shown, that is a unidirectional pipe. So only process 1 here write and process 2 will read, and process 2 will write, process 1 will read. So like that is unidirectional. So here this is the common thing, and here information will pass. There is a pipe. So either it is named or unnamed, anonymous or some name is there. So we will see that pipe is a section of shared memory used by process for communicating. This is the section of the shared memory used by the process for communication purpose. Pipe follow the client server architecture. Client means, you know, client server. So you are this client means another side we have server. The client will request anything with the server, then server send that requested item to client. So if that thing is not there with the client, then only client will ask that item with the server. Then server will check that request is proper or not. If that request is valid, then server will send that particular item to client. That is the client server architecture. A process that architecture we are using here. A process which creates a pipe is known as a pipe server. A pipe concept is created, right? That is called pipe server, and a process which connects to the pipe is known as pipe client. So one side, one process is created pipe, another side that process will read from that pipe. So who created that pipe? That process is called server. Who reading the pipe? Who reading that pipe? That process is called client. It can be unidirectional, either one side, there is a writing and here reading, or it may be bidirectional also. Depends. Sometimes it is one direction, that is unidirectional. Sometimes it is bidirectional. Two types of pipes are for intercommunication process, inter-process communication. That is anonymous pipe and named pipe. Anonymous pipe means that pipe don't having any name. That means but that unauthorized. But this name pipe means there is a authority. That means there some name is there. So here anonymous pipe are unnamed, but unidirectional pipe. But here named pipe are unidirectional or bidirectional with some name. Okay, but both are used for, pipe is used for information exchange. Another is a memory mapped object. Memory mapped object is a shared memory technique adopted by the certain real-time operating system for allocating a shared block of memory which can be accessed by multiple processes simultaneously. Any process which want to share data, with other process can map the physical memory area of the mapped object to its virtual memory space and use it for sharing the data. Here we already seen about that notice board. Almost it is the same as that. So here if you communication is required, so then we are using memory for sharing that information. So one process will share anything with the other process through that memory mapped object. There is a object which is memory mapped. We are using that object for communication purpose. We have second type of communication, task communication method is, or process communication is message passing. Message passing is either synchronous or asynchronous information exchange mechanism used for inter-process communication or inter-thread communication. Thread is part of the process. Many threads are combined together form a process. So either it is used for process communication or it is used for thread communication. The major difference between shared memory and message passing. Shared memory we seen in the previous. Message passing is here. What is the difference? Through shared memory, lots of data can be shared, whereas here, that is in message passing, limited amount of data is passed. That is the difference. In the previous slide, that is a shared memory concept, we are sharing lot of data. So there is no limit. Lot of data we can share at a time or long time also. But in the message passing system, we can share the limited data. So there is a limit. So at a time we can send only this much data, or totally we can send this much data. There is a limit in the message passing. That is a drawback of message passing itself. Also, message passing is relatively fast and free from synchronization overhead compared to shared memory. Synchronization, that is a synchronization means that there is a cooperation required between two processes in the shared memory concept. But message passing concept is relatively fast because here synchronization is not required. Message passing synchronization is not required. So it is relatively fast. Based on the message passing operation between the process, message passing is classified into three types. One is queue, message queue, mailbox, signaling. What you mean by message queue? Here message queue means we have two processes here, process 1 and process 2. Communication is required between process 1 and process 2. How that communication will occur? That is using one buffer, that is called queue. Queue or buffer, that is called message queue. So any process, that means now P1, consider P1 want to communicate with P2, or P1 want to send some information to P2. P1 will send that information to message queue. From the message queue, that information is sent to process 2. Here sending, here receiving. Sending and receiving we are not going for directly, just through message queue. That is the concept of intercommunication, interprocess communication. Usually the process which wants to talk to another process post the message to first input, first in first out, FIFO queue called message queue. Here message queue is there. Which algorithm we are using? That is FIFO, which is the first come message is there, that is sent to process to first in first out, which store the messages temporarily. That means message queue will store messages temporarily in the system defined memory object to pass it to the desired process. It is all the messages here stored temporarily, not permanently. Once that message is passed to process 2, then it is fine. That queue is free. Message are sent and received through send and receive method. You know generally sending, but we are not directly sending to process 2, we are sending to message queue. From the message queue, this message queue will send that message to process 2, and this process 2 will receive that message. Second method, here we see in three methods. One is a message queue, mailbox, signaling. These are the three methods of message passing. One is message queue and the second one is a mailbox. Mailbox is second method for message passing. Now what is a mailbox? Here we have three tasks or three process they given. So this is here another process. So there is a communication is required. How that will happen? Mailbox technique for IPC. IPC means inter-process communication in real-time operating system is usually used for one-way messaging. This is not two-way, this is unidirectional, one-way. The task which want to send a message to other task create a mailbox for posting the message. Any task, now task 1 want to send one message to other task, that is a task 2. At that time task 1 will create one mailbox. Through mailbox itself that message is sent to task 2. The thread which are interested in receiving the message posted to mailbox by the mailbox creator thread can subscribe to mailbox. If he task 2 want to receive any message from this one, then he should subscribe to this mailbox. Then only task 2 can take that message which is sent by task 1. The thread which creates a mailbox is known as mailbox server. A thread which is subscribed to the mailbox are known as mailbox client. Task 1 want to send some information to task 2, so he will create one mailbox, so he is a server. And task 2 want to receive that information from task 1, so whichever mailbox created by task 1, task 2 should subscribe in that. At that time task 2 become client. Mailbox server post messages to the mailbox and notify it to the client, which are subscribed to the mailbox. Here you know you are generally Gmail also, so he will put one mail here in the mailbox. Once he put mail in the mailbox, all the subscriber of that mailbox will get one notification that task 1 added some message. So task 2 can see that message only if that is subscribed, then he can see that notification and he can see that message also. Third method in the message passing is signaling. So signaling, general example I can give, your in the railway station, we've seen some signaling method, that is a red color flag is a green color. Green color is meaning is one meaning is red color means another meaning is stop and go, like that. So here signals, that method we are going to use here. Signals, there is no meaning for that, meaning is there but there is no message. So signal are used for asynchronous notification, not synchronous, asynchronous notification, just notification, where one process fires a signal indicating the occurrence of a scenario which the other process thread is waiting. We have two process. One of the process will give some notification through the signal to other process. That means some event is completed or some scenario is completed, something is done. That signal is giving to process P2. That is signaling method. Signal are not queued, there is no queue, and they do not carry any data, just there is a meaning. That is called notification. We have another method. One is message passing, one is a shared memory, another one is a remote procedure call, that is also called socket. And socket. So also called RPC. Okay, RPC is this short form of remote procedure call. So what is the meaning of that? So in the first we seen three methods. What is the first method in interprocess communication? Shared memory. So there we are using one common memory area, and process 1 and process 2 or communication will happen through that common memory area. Everything is put in that common memory area, another process should take everything from that part. So that is called first one, shared memory. What is the second method for communication? That is called message passing. So message send and receive, by using that commands we are going to send and we are going to receive, another process will receive that. There is a queue. So three method, another one message queue and mailbox, and in the previous slide we seen another one that is called signaling. So these are the three methods we seen in the message passing. So there thing is in the shared memory we can send a lot of data, there is no limit for the data, but in the message passing there is a limit for the data, we can send only particular amount of data only. So here in the remote procedure call system, we are sending every information to another process through internet. So there is directly one TCP UDP protocol we are using, TCP or UDP protocol. So by using that protocol we are sending that information from one process to another process. So remote procedure call or RPC is the inter-process communication method or mechanism used by the process to call a procedure of another process running on the same CPU or on the different CPU which is interconnected in a network. RPC is mainly used for distributed applications like a client server application. One side we have client, one side we have server. Let us go for another last line. With RPC, it is possible to communicate over a heterogeneous network. Means network where client and server applications are running on the different operating system. That is called heterogeneous. Homogeneous means network where client and server applications are running on the same operating system. That is a homogeneous. Heterogeneous means running on the different operating system. Now see, you can see in the first diagram, here we have network, that is either TCP or UDP protocol we are using. TCP means transmission control protocol, UDP means user datagram protocol. So that protocol we are using in this network part, and one process is there in your CPU, one CPU, another process is there in another CPU. So that two process or communication occurs through this network. And another thing here, process 1 and process 2, we have that both process 1 and process 2 in the same CPU. What about this? We have different CPU, but what about this? Same CPU we have two process, and that is also communicated through TCP and UDP protocol or called internet. Okay, so this is the method we are going to use in your task communication. That is a remote procedure call method. So now in the next class we are going to see some of the other topic like deadlock, race condition, etc. Now in this present class we seen about task communication and how communication will happen, cooperating process, competing process, independent process, a remote procedure call, message passing, shared memory, pipe, and remote. That is some of the concept we've seen here. So thank you.